Welcome to Life, Lessons, and Legacy. Legacy Podcast with your host, Cedric D. Nelson. Today, I'm honored to have the Miss Tonia Hughes with me today. Miss Hughes, how are you doing today?
I'm fabulous. Thank you for asking.
Okay. Miss Hughes is the manager of the Blue Room, and she is also the CEO of Faith Over Fear Financial. So, Miss Hughes, again, thank you for coming. Once we get to talking about this, I'll tell everyone how I met you and how we ended up getting to this point, which was pretty impressive to me anyway. So what's your background? Where are you from? Kind of give me a little background.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Okay. So let's go back. Born and raised in Greenville, Mississippi.
Okay.
Mississippi is home for me. I've been in Mississippi most of my life. Let's see. Parents, my mother, my father. I'm the oldest of seven. So we have a big family. We're very family, we're tight. And I mean, that's just what we do. I left home at an early age, at a really early age. 17, I was a teen mom,
Okay.
married at 18. And I'm not really sure if you remember, but in the 80s and 90s, the boys, well, I guess some of the females, but they would leave going straight to boot camp. So that's what my first husband did. Like
Okay.
before he was even graduated, he was like already designated to go to boot camp and then straight to the Navy. So we already knew we were going to be married. Yes, we had a kid, but life happens. So yeah, teen mom at 17, married at 18, and I think I've been somebody's wife all my life. In my second marriage now. So and I'm 17 years into it. But yes, Greenville, Mississippi. I hadn't been in Memphis about 3 years now, so this is not home for me. But it's growing on us. It's definitely growing on us.
Well, that's funny you say that. Well, a couple of things. One, my son graduates in May, and he is going to the Air Force, so he's going to the military. My wife and I are both from Mississippi. I'm from Oxford, Mississippi, and she's from a place called Carrier, Mississippi, down past Hattiesburg.
Oh wow!
And we met when we were really young, and we've been together since 2000. And when we got married, I want to say my wife was, I need to notice because I'm getting in trouble, but she was 21, 22 when we had my daughter. And when we got married, we were fairly young. We've been here since 2002, and we just have to kind of, like you say, we've grown. We don't have any family here. We've made family here as far as our friends that are like family, but it was just us. And Memphis is a lot different than Mississippi.
It is.
In Mississippi, everyone speaks. I first came like, "Hey, how you doing?" Everybody like looking down, looking like I'm crazy, and I was offended. I'm like, "Man, they won't even speak to me. They won't even look at me." But now I'm a Memphian. I get it. Like if I don't know you, I'm not speaking to you. So yeah, it's definitely different. And like you said, being married so long, I've been married for 19 years now. So like you say, I've almost been married longer than the time I wasn't married. So I don't really even know what life is like without being married at this point.
Right.
So, can you give me a little bit about your educational background and about your career background?
Okay, very good. Oh, education. It's going to be short and sweet on education.
Good.
Again, teen mom. Believe it or not, even in being in the leadership role that I'm in, I don't even have a high school diploma.
Okay.
Mr. Cedric. Didn't graduate from high school at all. I did get my GED at 18, and went straight into sales, education. Everything I got today, I learned hands-on. God has always had his hands on me. For some reason, he just saw fit that I was in leadership, and that was without a degree. So I've made it my business to stress to the youth that I come in contact with, hey, yes, education is important, but with or without it, you can still make six figures. You can still be that entrepreneur. You can still be that boss that you desire to be. So you don't let, your degrees, your education, stumbling blocks, things that may hinder you in life, keep you from being all that God's called you to be. It's a struggle. It's harder, definitely harder, but it's possible. And with God, everything is possible. And that's what we have to, definitely teach our children. Hey, yeah, you make mistakes. Yes, things happen. Life happens. But even in that, you can be everything God called you to be. And you don't need that, that degree. So no high school diploma, but a lot of life lessons. And so when me and you met, that was just, it clicked with me, because when you're talking about life lessons and legacy, oh my God, like that was just it. Life has definitely taught me a lot of lessons, and those are the legacies that I'll be able to leave my children. Absolutely.
Yes. Amen. And I say that to everyone. I tell people, like, when I was growing up, that's what you were taught. Okay, you graduate high school, you go to college, get a degree. But what people don't tell you is you go to college, get a degree, you're still not guaranteed a job. I came out making $23,000 a year. I was making less than anybody else that I knew of. I wasn't making enough to pay my bills. And I had this piece of paper saying I was educated, but it was a piece of paper. All it really did was give me 4 more years to be a little bit immature and to learn how to grow up. But I've met people, that's why I'm so happy we're talking. I met people who didn't go to college and they are doing great, because I tell people excuses sound best to the person that's making the excuse. Because really, whether you have a GED, diploma, master's, bachelor's, it doesn't matter. If you want it, you go get it. So I like your story. So I'm gonna tell people kind of how I met you.
Okay.
And then so this is how Miss Hughes was so impressive to my wife and I that I took off work one day and went back to the Blue Room. Said, hey, I don't know her name, I don't know who she is, but I need to interview this lady. So the story goes, my wife and I were out celebrating our anniversary, and I heard this place called the Blue Room. I'm a Sigma, so the Blue Room. Hey, I'm gonna take it to the Blue Room. My wife was like, "What's the Blue Room?" I'm like, don't worry, let's go. We get there. It's a little bit after Valentine's Day. It's extremely busy. I think you guys had a couple of parties, probably like 18 people, 20 people. So things were kind of backed up, just kind of opening it up, getting things going. But I tell you this, we were sitting there, and the way Miss Hughes made us feel, and her attention to detail, and the way she worked that whole entire room, making sure everyone was taken care of. We were so, I don't know how long it took to get food or whatever, because we were so impressed. We forgot, we stopped even worrying about the food. We started watching you. I was like, this woman is amazing. Like, I don't know when the food is coming. It doesn't even matter. I just want to watch her. So Miss Hughes was so impressive in the way her attention to detail with customer service, because a lot of times here in Memphis, and I'm guessing worldwide now after COVID, customer service kind of, it's went down. It's kind of sucks. When I say Miss Hughes was the epitome of what you want as far as customer service, I tell you, I was so impressed. The meal was great once we got it. The mimosas were great. I don't really drink much, so after about 1 or 2, it didn't really matter what happened to that. But the attention to detail that you showed was so impressive to my wife and I, that we were both like, you know what? We were just getting ready to start the podcast, and I was like, I don't know about any other guests, but we're gonna find out who she is.
Thank you.
And so, Miss Hughes, I just want to tell you, I thank you for the experience. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I'm telling you, I was like, man, if I had a company, that's who I would hire. I would hire you before I hire myself.
Wow.
I was so impressed. And I didn't even at that time, I only knew about the Blue Room. And I was like, man, my God, this place is gonna be a success, because if they have her, everything else is going, it's gonna fall in line. Even you talking to the waitresses, like, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? And you was just moving at such a fast pace, and you never seemed frustrated. You never seemed overwhelmed. You worked the room, you commanded the room, and you made sure everyone felt like they were the only person in the restaurant. And I just want to tell you, I appreciate it. That's why I made sure I was seeking you out. I was like, I gotta find her. I don't know where she's at. It's raining. I think the day I came looking for you, it was raining outside. It didn't matter. I was coming. I was like, I got to find. I got to get on my show. So again, thank you. I'm telling you guys, I'm not sponsored by the Blue Room or anyone else, but definitely check out the Blue Room. And we're gonna
Yes.
talk about some other things that Miss Hughes is doing. Definitely check out Miss Hughes is a phenomenal woman.
Thank you.
I felt blessed to be in your presence that day that we were there. It was just amazing. Some people have it and some people don't, and you just have it because that day, I'm telling you, you could have been
It
like,
was a
"Look, we're gonna
day.
go sit outside in the rain at a table, and I'm gonna bring
Yeah.
you some drinks." And we would have went outside and sat in the rain for the
Right.
drinks stuff.
Right.
So,
Right.
so could you tell me kind of about what you do at the Blue Room? And I want to also talk about your other venture because I know that you have other ventures as well.
I do. So the blue room just kind of fell in my lap. Let me tell you, Mr. Cedric. You know how we find little jobs to kind of supplement your income.
Mm-hmm.
So the blue room initially was supposed to be like a little part-time. I was gonna host. I
Mm-hmm.
just kind of, casually thought I can go in, dress up, greet the door,
Mm-hmm.
seat the door, do it for like 4 hours for
Mm-hmm.
2 days a week. It was going to be a Saturday and Sunday gig because we do
Okay.
brunches on Saturday and Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, I can definitely do that. Be
Uh-huh.
cute, wait, sit the door
Mm-hmm.
and go back to my post, right? And no big deal. Well, again, let's get back to God. You tell God your plans, and see how, he make you laugh because your
Right.
plans is a joke already to him because his will is what's gonna be done anyway.
Man.
So I
Mm-hmm.
always say he has a sense of humor, but yeah, and it just kind of fell on me like, hey, um, we need a manager. I'm like, no, I'm not here to manage.
Uh-huh.
I have other businesses like, you've
Mm-hmm.
mentioned. I'm not here to manage. I'm here to, hey, make a few extra dollars, work, 2 days a week, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't work like that. So yeah, I ended up actually it's been 6 months now, 6 months just in management.
Okay.
It's 5 persons that's actually own and operate the business,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, I am the face of the blue room. I manage and operate it. It's humbling, it's
Mm-hmm.
customer service, it's just what I do. Again, when I started, I said I've been in sales most of my life, but
Mm-hmm.
anything that you're doing when you're servicing people, you have to do it with a passion and
Okay.
you have to do it with heart. And if
Mm-hmm.
you don't do it with passion and with heart, then the customer already know you're not giving them your
Yep.
best.
Yep.
And so that just kind of came with the territory.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do? I of course I train,
Mm-hmm.
I hire, I manage the books financially,
Okay.
I manage the scheduling, I manage the inventory.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot comes with leadership when you're in leadership. But again, God has a sense of humor. And even, with no degree,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the my skill and my talent speaks for the capability of getting a job done, and that's why I thank God it because He's equipped me with
Mm-hmm.
everything that I need to
Mm-hmm.
provide for my family,
Mm-hmm.
provide for my kids, and I thank Him for it.
Mm-hmm. And I tell people all the time, again, going through life a little bit, you learn that whatever job you get, you're gonna get trained anyway. If
Yes,
you're a people person and you put
yes,
people first and you're doing God's work, because like you say, you tell God, well, I'm gonna go do X, Y, and Z. And like I say, God laughs like, yeah, you trying to go right, but I'm gonna send you left.
yes,
And you can
yes,
fight me all day trying to go right, but eventually your
yes,
butt gonna go left and you're gonna be
yes,
happy. But you're here
yes,
fighting me going right and you're
yes,
miserable. So that's amazing. I didn't even like again, I just saw you and I saw what you were doing. I didn't even know any of this. So
yes.
let's go on to the next one. So could you please tell me about the Faith Over Fear Financial, where you are the CEO of Faith Over Fear Financial, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. Now that's my passion. That's my baby. Yes.
Okay.
So, it's life insurance. So, I'm an independent life insurance agent, and that's what I
Okay.
do. But, the passion part of it is I'm able to teach my community, my family, my friends financial literacy. That's
Mm-hmm.
the important thing. Information that's hadn't been available to us as a people, as a culture, as a community,
Mm-hmm.
just teaching financial literacy, the importance of financial literacy, the importance of leaving generational wealth for your children, for your children's children, things God commanded us to do anyways.
Mm-hmm.
He said we were to leave an inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
And too often, our mindset is, hey, once I've raised you, you're out of my house, like, hey, you got to go get it like I had to go get it. but that's not the will of God. That's not the will of God.
Mm-mm.
And so, I don't just, hey, teach them this is financially, I don't just say insurance.
Mm-hmm.
No, let's talk about finances. Let's talk about, how can we get you to saving? How can we get you to budgeting? How
Mm-hmm.
can we get you to managing your money better? And you don't have to have a lot of money. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you start somewhere, $20 a week, $20 a month will help you to save and get you
Mm-hmm.
to a place where you're comfortable. And again, the financial literacy, we have to know the importance of it. First of all, that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
And those one of the things that we got in school. They didn't talk about money. They didn't talk about finances. I didn't get it in my mom's house. It was, go to school, get a good
Mm-hmm.
job, you
Yep.
know, get a
Yep.
good education. That was it. And that was all she knew.
Mm-hmm.
Parents, they did the best they could,
Yep.
not knocking them at all because that
Right.
was all they had.
Mm-hmm.
But it tickles me because my 9-year-old, she's like, all about money, you know what I'm saying? But I understand it's because she watches me.
Mm-hmm.
My 31-year-old, same thing. So it's a reflection of who you are.
It
So
is.
when we know better, we definitely can do better when we know better.
Yep.
But God says his people perish for lack of knowledge. So,
Mm-hmm.
we have to get the information. And it's a lot of information out here, Mr. Cedric.
It
A
is.
lot of information.
Yeah.
You can Google it, it's no excuses. Let's get it, people. That's what I be. Let's get it
Yep.
and we all can win. That's the
Yep.
thing.
It's
Yeah.
enough out here for everyone. I tell people all the time, like it's kind of like this, like with my podcast, like I will come interview you. I will plug every single thing, every business venture you got, every tag, I will plug it all. And when I release the podcast, I put it out there. And a lot of people won't because they're like, well, if I do that, they're gonna do better than me. No, it's enough money for all of us. If I can be successful, you can be successful and vice versa. We might be able to help each other.
That's
And like you said about the financial literacy, it's so crazy. I told somebody, I grew up in the projects. We didn't have much in the way of funds. House full of love, not much of way of funds. And my grandmother taught me what she knew. But it was very limited because we just didn't have enough money, but we didn't even know about budgeting, about savings, about life insurance, none of that.
right.
And I tell people now, like you said, there's no excuse. When you and I were kids, there wasn't even the internet. So if you
Right.
wanted to find something, you had to go get an
Right.
encyclopedia, and
Right.
most of us couldn't afford them, so you had to go to the
Right.
library
Yeah.
and you had
Right.
to scroll through this little thing
Yes.
physically. So
Yes.
now, if you want to say savings plan, you can Google it.
Yes.
Life insurance, Google it, and then you
Yes.
have people like yourself that you can contact and be like, "Hey, I don't know anything about financial literacy. Can you teach me?"
That's it.
And because I told people when I went to high school and even college, I had no financial literacy when I went to high school. I had no financial literacy after high school or college.
Right.
You have to learn the hard way, So
Yes.
I think what you're doing is amazing. And I think you and I both talking about being from Mississippi. It's huge because Tennessee is Tennessee and it has its issues, but growing up in Mississippi, the poverty is just it's generational almost there,
Yes.
in some
Yes.
place. Like even people like getting homes or even knowing how to budget. There's people that don't even have checking accounts.
Right.
They go to the gas station or the quote unquote liquor store to cash their checks.
Right.
And you're just trying to teach them so the next generation, because every generation should get better. And
Yes.
like you said, your kids and the knowledge they have that's been passed down by you will help the next generation, the
Right.
next generation. Because once you know better, you do better. But when you
Right.
don't know any better, you just keep
Right.
doing what you've seen be done. And you look up and you're 60 years old and you don't have anything left,
Right.
and now you're struggling just to pay for your
Right.
medicine. So
Yeah.
my next question, so what are your goals professionally and personally? What are your goals for this upcoming year?
Oh, upcoming year. I can definitely do that one. Upcoming year. My goals is to on my own time, to really on my own time. I'm definitely in working. Actually, it's funny that you brought that up because I slowly exiting some things that I'm working on to focus on, like that one thing.
Right, right.
So my
Okay.
goal, my 31-year-old, my daughter,
Mhm.
we kind of grew up together. This is the
I
one
get
I had at 17, and
uh-huh.
yeah. So we're so bonded, but we've come together in a business
Mhm.
adventure, and so we've started a bounce event
Okay.
company, and so we don't just do bounce houses. We do
Okay.
events, um, the tent clubs, chairs, tables, rentals, just the whole giddy up thing. So
Okay.
we've come together in that, and we're super excited about that. We launched it about a week ago, preparing for spring break.
Okay.
So we're definitely dabbling in that a whole lot. Insurance, I mean, that's something that is that's me. That's just what I do. But she and I are definitely getting this kicked off.
Okay.
The goal is to it be profitable, it be access to our community, access to our family. And so we're super excited about that. So I'm gonna definitely be putting in a lot of time to just get it up off the ground and get it operating like we want it to be. That's my goal, and just focus more on financial literacy. But yeah, I'm exiting a few things and focusing on some things that need to be taken care of
Okay.
to get it to the level that it needs to be.
Well, I'll tell you what, once you get to that point, well, or even though, let me know. We'll plug it on the channel. I mean, any way I can
Yes,
help you,
sir.
let me know.
Yes, sir.
And I tell people that too, like even that, like you guys, working on that business. It's like again, guys playing. You and I, even this podcast, like I would like to have graduated and started a podcast, wrote a book and all, but you can't do
Yes.
any of that until you go through all the things God wants you to go through until you get to that
Yes.
point. And we're always on our time, we think, but it's on God's time.
Every time.
Every time, like
Every
even this,
time.
like, so the blue room, the financial literacy, all this stuff leads
Yes.
to being able to do the balance.
Right. Right.
It's just so I don't tell the younger generation, they live in a microwave society where they
Yeah, and
want
it
it
don't
now.
and it don't work like that.
No, it don't work that way. Then they
No, it's
frustrated.
long nights, right? Long nights. 3 a.m. You looking up at
Yep.
the ceiling and you're picturing and you writing a blueprint and you trying to
Yep.
get it figured out.
Yep.
It's entrepreneurship is not for the weak, Mr. Cedric. It's not for the weak.
Miss Hughes, I'm telling
And
you, it is
right, it's
not.
easy to get up and go to a job and do those 8 hours. It's so easy
Yep.
to do it.
Yep.
For another man to control your income, it's so easy to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But in entrepreneurship, you gotta get up early. You gotta stay up late.
Yeah.
We talking 16, 18-hour days, if any sleep some days,
Right.
I've been up like 32 hours. I've been calling myself, like team no sleep, team no sleep. But when you got a goal and you got an objective, you
Yep.
got to stick to it, Mr. Cedric.
You
And
do.
that means at any cost,
Yep.
at the cost of sleep, at the cost of rest.
Yep.
So entrepreneurship is definitely not for the weak.
It's not.
Definitely not for the weak.
No, I tell people all the time. People always walking to me like, "Hey, man, I see what you're doing. I
Yeah.
want to start a business." And I'm like, "Well, okay, I can give you the blueprint, but you're gonna probably lose some friends.
Yes.
You're gonna lose a lot of sleep,
Yes.
and a lot of the time, like you're some of those 32-hour binges.
Yes.
Sometimes you're not even getting paid for that.
Right.
That's just sitting down planning out what you want to do. You're
Yes.
doing free stuff. You're offering free advice, and you're doing all these different things to get to your
Yes.
common goal. And most people are not used to that because they used to, like you say, go in for 8 hours. I worked 8 hours. I'm getting paid this much an hour.
Right.
Where's my check? You
Right.
might stay up. You might be up to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and not get paid for any of that
A
time.
dime. That's right.
And you still got to be up at 6 a.m. to go do whatever you got to do to make some money.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes.
it's not for the weak. And I
It's
think
not.
even the financial part, the financial literacy, I know, starting off, taxes and tax breaks and, payroll and just dealing with people's attitudes. And then life happens. I tell somebody get a shirt that says life be lifing.
Yeah, it
Because
does.
yeah, you have a plan for today, life be life. It don't
Yes.
stop. It don't care if you feel bad, if a
Yes.
family member passed away,
Don't matter.
if your significant other's getting on your last nerve,
Yes.
it's
Don't
gonna be
matter.
life. It don't care. It's gonna show up.
Yes.
And I tell my kids, I say, look, I give you guys advice at this point because if you listen to me, I'll make your life so much easier. If you don't, life is gonna tell you the same thing. It's just not gonna tell you in a good way. It's gonna come and punch you in your face, and it's gonna keep punching
That's
until you
right.
finally just get up. It's not gonna give you a chance to get up.
Get up.
You got to.
That's right.
So yeah, life be life, and
It does. And I
yeah,
like that. Life do be life. And I
it be
tell
life.
you, it ain't nothing you can do about it. That's
It
the funny
ain't.
thing. Ain't nothing you
Nope. You
like
got
you
to get
say,
up.
hold on and enjoy the ride.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I will say my next question. So, what life lessons have you learned that you want to share?
Life lessons. Oh, so many life lessons.
Mhm.
Um, I'll be 50 really soon. 50 really soon.
Lessons.
And I definitely want my latter to be greater
Okay.
than my former.
Gotcha.
Life has taught me to be patient, more than anything, to be patient. I spent my 20s and my 30s running, working 80-hour weeks, trying to build and trying to quote unquote be successful, to obtain things. But just like you coming to the blue room.
Mm-hmm.
If we just be patient, God, like I would have never met you. You know, our paths never would have crossed.
Right.
Um, everything is again back on timing.
Mm-hmm.
So if we just be patient, those things that we're fighting and scuffling and crawling and biting
Mm-hmm.
for, it'll come. It'll
Mm-hmm.
come. And I had to learn that because I used to be my anxiety just be, just like I gotta do it. I gotta get it. I
Mm-hmm.
can't sleep. I gotta rest.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, back on God, I'm sorry, but
Oh no, you
he
good.
is so awesome because when you rest, especially in him,
Mm-hmm.
so that's one thing I've learned in this life is to just rest, trust and rest. And everything that we're trusting him for,
Mm-hmm.
everything that we're believing in him for, it shall come to pass. But I
Amen.
had to get to that point. Yeah,
Right.
I had to get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you were saying, like you'll be 50 soon. We're all getting a little bit older. So, like you said, it's just one of those things you learn as you get older, like that patience.
Yeah.
Because like you said, if we did the way we want to, we never would have met each other. This
Right.
episode never would have been happening.
Right.
It's just one of those things, like just God's timing and having that patience.
Right.
And a lot of times people don't have that. And we put so much stress and pressure and anxiety on ourselves
Yes.
trying to do it our way. When
Yeah.
God is like, no, I got you. Just be patient, follow my word,
That's it.
get in your word, read. And in this
Yeah.
generation, a lot of them don't have their religion. They don't have anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have that guidance.
Right.
So I tell people also getting older is a blessing. When you're
Yeah.
younger, you're like, oh man, I don't want to get old. That's
Yeah.
because they never been 49.
Right.
It's
That
like,
part.
yeah, they don't know that okay, I
That's
want to be
it.
50,
Right. Right.
So no, I think that's great.
Yeah.
And so my next question is who is or has been the single most significant and influential person in your life, past or present?
Um, my I have a few. Let me see. My mom died at 45, but my
Okay.
mom was an entrepreneur. And she was so influential to me. And I always wondered where did I get the desire and the heart to be an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And as a child, you don't even know what an entrepreneur
You
is.
don't.
But my mom, again, going back, had 7 children. She had 7 children.
Mm-hmm.
And so she didn't work at all, at all.
Okay.
But do you remember when people used to knit and crochet
Uh-huh.
the
My
little
grandmother
pot
did.
holder
Uh-huh.
things, and they used to set them on the coffee tables? And
Mm-hmm.
well, that's what she did. She baked and she crocheted and knit.
Okay.
And as children, we would go door to door selling those little crochet little items
Okay.
for 50 cents and $1, cakes and all
Mm-hmm.
that. So my mom was an entrepreneur. I don't even know if she knew she was an entrepreneur.
Right. Right.
But those were the things that she did to make extra income
Mm-hmm.
so that we could have, you got 7 babies in this house. And so when I immediately got into the workplace, I couldn't stay there. It was
Right.
like I already knew I had to do more. It was more in me.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was a big influence on me.
Mm-hmm.
My bishop, he's deceased also now, but spoke life and just, taught me about integrity,
Mm-hmm.
about character,
Mm-hmm.
how you should treat people.
Yes.
And so those two people were the biggest influences in my life. But my mom, had she not had the hunger and desire for more for her family,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't think I have the drive that I have today.
Okay.
And so I look at my 9-year-old and she's talking about, Mom, if I put $20 in my savings account,
Uh-huh.
and keep my other five, from her $25,
Mm-hmm.
and I keep my other $5 in my bank, which is beside her bed. So
Mm-hmm.
she can blow the little $5, but the $20, she's like, in a week, you know what I'm saying? I have $100, and then in 2 weeks I have this, and in a month I have that. And she doing the math, and I'm looking like, look at you, God.
Gets it.
So when I look at your book and you talking about life lessons and legacies,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you're leaving right there. You're leaving those legacies. And you said it yourself, Mr. Cedric, you do it one generation at a time.
That's it.
So you got to start though.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be the first millionaire in my family. I will be that, and so my children, they have to make their millions.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it'll have to come
Mm-hmm.
because I'll break that generational curse. and we will be financially free and live the life that God intended us to live, and we will be the lenders and not the borrowers. We will be the head and not the tail. We are above and not beneath. And so, yeah, God is good. God is good. Yes, he
Amen
is.
to that. Amen.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. Once God has worked in your life, like you
Mhm.
say, that energy you have, that when you start talking about praising God, there's nothing about it, because I tell people all the time, there's been times in my life, even recently, where you just don't know how it's gonna work out. Like you're praying and you're like, okay, I can't pray and worry. If I prayed, I got to give it to God and keep. And somehow it's so crazy that it works out. Like you don't even know how it works out. You may have somebody that you have property, somebody hasn't paid rent in a whole year. You trying,
Wow.
trying to evict them. And on this day when you just need this for this bill or whatever, they magically actually pay their rent. Something they haven't did in the whole year, and it's just God. Or
Yeah.
something not breaking down when you don't have the money to take care
Right.
of it. And
Right.
you said something about like the generational, the wealth, and that's the big thing for me, to teach my kids about, look, put your money in S&P 500. Don't spend all your money. Put 20% here, 5%, 10%. And it's funny because people always say, they tell the kids, do as I say, not as I do. But if they see you doing it, more
Right.
likely they're going to do, because it's just natural
Right.
to them. Like you say, your
Yeah.
9-year-old being like, no, I'm going to blow this 5 on candy, whatever I want.
Yeah.
But this 20,
Yeah.
this 20 is going to work for
Right.
me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, it starts with us. I tell people
Yeah.
that if you don't owe it to yourself, you owe it to your ancestors to be better. Because there was somebody, I said in my book, there was somebody in your lineage that sacrificed their hopes and dreams to make sure your life was better.
That's
And
right.
they had dreams of being successful, and they may not have made it all the way. They did a little bit more, and then you build on that, and then your kids build on that. Like you
Right.
say, we will be the first millionaires in our families,
Right.
and we will show our kids how to maintain and to gain that wealth,
Right.
and then that therefore they will teach their kids. That was one of my reasons for writing a book. So I'm big on legacy. So when I'm no longer here,
Right.
my kids can always go to my book and be like, okay, this is my dad's, this is the advice he gave.
Yeah.
And my grandkids can go to the book and be like, okay, this is the advice he would have given me. Because we won't be here forever.
Right.
So you want to leave something behind, something
Right.
positive.
Right.
Um, so 2 more questions. I always say 2 more questions, then I'll start
That's
talking
okay.
about.
It's good. It's good.
Okay. So we kind of hit on this a little bit. So what do you think about legacy, and what is the legacy that you want to leave behind for your family? Because we talk about God and religion, and we all know we have a date where we will no longer be here. So
Right.
what is the legacy that you want to leave behind for your children and for the world?
Okay. For my children, I think about that all the time. The legacy that I want to leave for my children is definitely, I want to leave them a financial blueprint
Mm-hmm.
of how to successfully live this life productively and successfully without any stress, struggle, or strain.
Mm-hmm.
That is my ultimate goal. I want my children, my grandchildren to say, this is what mama did.
Okay.
This is what grandmama did.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the not just the information,
Mm-hmm.
houses, land, property. This is because of what mama did.
Mm-hmm.
Grandmama did this. And
Mm-hmm.
because grandmama did this, we were able to have this land that we have,
Yes.
property.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the information,
Right.
but something tangible that they can say, hey, this is the blueprint, this is what we
Mm-hmm.
need, and
Mm-hmm.
if we do XYZ like she did, this is going to be the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
That is my ultimate goal. A blueprint for my children and my grandchildren, something
Okay.
that they can follow
Mm-hmm.
and be successful, be
Mm-hmm.
productive. Yeah.
And they need that, because like again, it starts with us. I tell people, same thing you said. I want to have 100 acres of land, and I want my kids to be like, this is where it started. It started with grandma and granddad,
Yeah.
or mom and dad. They
Yes.
start. You know what? We're here. I tell my kids all the time, look, you're a Nelson. You need to be better than that. You need to do this,
That's
that. And
right.
they look at me like they used to
Yes.
look at me kind of crazy. Now I hear them saying, no, I'm a Nelson. We don't do that.
Yeah,
You
come
know,
on.
and you have to teach them, like you start having
Mhm.
some pride about yourself and about what you
Right.
want. And it's not always easy, but with
Right.
knowledge comes power. The more you learn, the more I can teach
Yes.
them, and the
Yes.
easier this whole journey will be. Because again, like you said, it's gonna be hard. I've been through some hard times in life. I'm sure I'll go through some more,
Right.
but I have God
Absolutely.
on my side, and I tell the kids, look, you need to you. My grandmother told me before she passed, something I share with my kids. She said, "Baby, I love you," and I was a little kid, and she said, "But one day I won't be here." So you need to have a relationship with God, because one day I won't be here to give you advice. You won't be able to lean on me. You're gonna need somebody to talk to and somebody to lean on and believe
Yes.
in. So you
Yeah.
need to get a relationship. And I tell my kids that you need to get a relationship with God, baby. because
That's it.
your dad loves you to death. I
Right.
will give my life for you, but one day I won't be here.
Right.
So you need to get a relationship with God, because there's gonna be
Yes.
some times in your life it's gonna be so hard that there's nobody or nothing you can turn to
Nothing.
but
That's
God.
right. That's it.
You
That's
know,
it. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
man, this has been great. I'm telling you, like I knew it was gonna be great when I met you, because I said
Thank you.
if
Yeah.
anybody works at the pace that she does, and like I said, it's just that you know you've seen people that you could tell they're kind of putting on,
Right.
but
Right.
with you it was just 100% genuine. Like I could tell you were like, look, I'm here for service. And
Yes.
that's the other thing about dealing with God. When you start learning, like, okay, I'm being a servant for God. It's not about me. I can look past
It's
myself.
not. That's it. Yeah.
And it's amazing. Even hear your story about, about being a teen mom, about,
Yes.
starting being married early. It's going to be inspiring to the listeners, because everyone thinks, like, again, like we said, oh, this is the blueprint. I got to graduate high school and I got to go to
No.
college. But that's not it. That's not
Yes.
it for everyone.
It's
And
not.
even coming out of college, I had all these dang on student loans. You got all this other stuff. When I started
Yes.
looking, I was like, man, if I was going to be an entrepreneur, I probably could have did this.
Right.
But again, it's God's plan. I have to go by
Yes.
God's plan.
Yes.
So no, I look forward to seeing you again. I look forward to before we go, I do want to talk more about your financial services, because I want to make sure we
Okay.
plug that
Yes,
and
sir.
tell everyone. So at the end of the podcast, I always give everyone opportunity to I'm gonna have your information at the bottom of the podcast anyway, but any upcoming events, any websites, any products you'd like to promote, anything you want to talk about your financial services, or anything else you have coming up, it's your time.
All right, good. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna say this, Mr. Cedric. When I tell you humbling, this has been so humbling to me. It has been a privilege and an honor to sit here in
Thank
your presence and speak with you. I thank
you.
you for the opportunity. The old people used to always have a saying, you didn't have to do it, but you did. So you didn't have to do it, but you did. And whatever you saw in me, you and your wife, I want to definitely give God all the glory. He gets all the glory. Nothing in me, nothing in me. Events. We're doing some events. We actually this week is spring break for our children here
Okay.
in Tennessee. So we do have some bounce house specials,
Okay.
some tent specials, 20% off any events during the spring break.
Okay.
The website, like you say, it'll be on the page.
Okay.
They can reach out to me through those sites. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Instagram at Investing with Tonia. I'm on LinkedIn, so I'm on all the platforms, Facebook,
Okay.
Twitter, you name it, I'm on it.
Okay.
And they can just reach out to us. Financial literacy, same thing. If you're need your credit rebuild, I'm your girl.
Okay.
You're looking for some IULs, whole life, term life, I'm your girl. You're looking to get into a budget to saving, I'm that person you want to speak to. I can get anything that they need as far as financial literacy. You just want to sit down and map out a plan on how to budget and save. We can do that. Don't cost you a dime.
Okay.
I do free consultations all the time. Big deal. My number is available too. Can I get my number? My number is available.
If you want to, yeah.
It's 662-931-0966. I can be reached at that number. You can text me, call me, it doesn't matter. Hey, I'm just here again to serve. Just that's how you met me. I was serving.
Yes.
So and it's just what I do in every area of my life, Mr. Cedric. I thank you again for the opportunity, and I thank you. I'm so humble. So humble. Yes,
Well,
sir.
you're most definitely welcome. Thank you again for accepting. Because again, I came in the rain looking for you. I was like, I gotta find her. I don't know who she is or where she is right now, but I went to the front desk. I was like, look, I met this young lady. She was amazing. I need to have her on my podcast. So
Thank you.
I really thank you. And I would like to, maybe we'll talk outside the pod. Maybe we'll get together and do like some workshops or something for the
Absolutely.
community, to kind of, they can come in, work on their credit, talk about it, talk about IULs, all the stuff that it seems like foreign language to them, because nobody's explained it to them.
Yes.
Most people don't even have a 401k, or they don't even know what 401k is. They don't know about life insurance. When I was a
Yes.
kid in the projects, there was these people, I don't know who they were, and they came through and offered these like little insurance policies. My grandmother, whoever paid on them for a million years, and then it was like $2,000. So
Yeah. It wasn't even enough.
it
Yeah.
wasn't even enough. So
Yeah.
the family still take up money. So in the African American or Black community, and just overall, everyone needs
Yes.
life insurance and an understanding of life insurance. So I think
Yes.
what you're doing is very important. I look forward to, like I say, trying to put together a workshop. I'll let you know, and we'll see if we can coordinate, because I think it's just
Yes.
great, because even if we helping the next generation, they need to come as well. Our generation and the younger generation. Because when you know better, you do better.
Yes.
And you see people that look like you talking to you, it makes you start feeling like, okay, they did it, I can do it too. You know, when I go give motivational speeches to these high schools and these other programs, it's something about seeing that one or two, you won't save them all, you know, it's sad, but that 1 or 2 kids is looking at me and like, okay, they get it. That kid, you just made an impact on that kid, and they're gonna pass it on to the next generation. So again, I thank you. This has been it's been a great time just talking with you and picking your brain. And of course, we'll have you on again. We will do this again.
All right, I'll hold you to that, Mr.
Okay, hey, I'm ready. We'll do. We'll do it again for the years though. We'll do part 2.
Okay. It's been good though. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hope you have a great rest of the day. If I can be of any service to you, yeah, you got my number. Call me, text me. I'm available anytime. Again, God is working through you, and it was a real blessing just seeing God work through you that day, and just getting to meet you and talk to you now. You know, it's inspired me for the rest of the day. Put it that way.
Good.
So I appreciate it, but I guess I'll get off here so we can both we got all these business ventures going on. I guess we need to get them going today. But again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for just being a sounding board for God. And I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.